afternoon, fellow travelers. Today is January 11th, 2025. This is Next Waypoint, and we have just finished a great 8 days in Rockport, Texas at Goose Island State Park.
It's the first place I've ever been, and I didn't know you could be the place where you could watch the sunset and the sunrise from the same location. I thought that was really cool because we were pretty much facing directly south. Yeah. And then on the beach, you could see the east and west.
I especially liked that we could see a beautiful view out of any window on the RV, but especially our two big windows behind the couch. Until one Class A, the last night, pulls in next to us. They pulled all the way up the beach and completely blocked our view. But we had 3 great nights of sunsets from the couch.
Yeah, we walked up and down the beach a few times. Hey, man. Are you cold?
Not at all.
They had a fishing pier. We walked that, took a bike up there one time.
A lot of fishermen. You see, also speaking of the fishermen, you had people, the ones waiting out in the water. We was like, hey, there's people out there waiting. I don't even know how they got that far out. We walked all the way out to one end where there was a really long pier, and you could walk well out into but it was pretty shallow water underneath you. But you could walk quite a ways out, and there were people all up and down there fishing. And while we were out there, we saw a fin and the back and a couple times the nose of a dolphin, but never the whole thing all at once.
That's right.
Clay identified it, and he's like, "That's a dolphin. I'm sure that's a dolphin." And
yeah, that's a dolphin.
So we keep watching in different parts of it, and so we said something to the people next to us. They said, "Oh, actually, yeah, there's like a whole fleet of them out there." So we had missed seeing a whole bunch of them, and we just got this straggler and got parts of it, but we officially saw a dolphin there.
We saw lots of
different birds,
pelicans everywhere.
Yeah, and ducks. See, they do
ducks.
They take airboats out and do these duck hunts, and there were just so many ducks behind our, in the water right behind our RV. Anyway, just all the time, just like 100 of them hanging out there. But then when they would come back from these duck hunts and fishing and whatever they were doing, they had a place where they cleaned all their catch and would throw the scraps to the pelicans.
They were waiting their turn. They knew they were going to get some scraps, or either duck or fish would have happened. But it was during duck season. It's for another 2 weeks here.
Duck season, rabbit season, rabbit season, duck season.
When they came back on the big airboats, they'd make a lot of noise getting up into their boat ramp. Duck hunters returning?
It was startling.
It was startling. You could hear that from the RV every time.
So yeah, after the 4 days on the water, which was a lot of fun, it was cold enough that we didn't mind, the cold and the wind, and we were fine coming inland. And so the same place has 2 campgrounds. It has the one on the water, on the beach, and then it has an inland campground also. We had brush all around us, and you might see the back end of an RV or something. So we weren't that far apart, but we were very private, and that was nice. But then we ended up not using our site at all, except the park, because it pretty much rained the whole time. But that was a good time for us then to go into town.
Rockport served us well. They had everything you want. I mean, we didn't go to the Walmart, but they had a Walmart there. We tried. You went to HEB.
It's a Texas, I guess.
Texas grocery store chain, and that was really nice.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
When she was at HEB, I walked down to the beach and I came across a big M. Those remember the movie The Mad World, where Jonathan Winters was. It's the big W. I tell you, it's the big W.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of reminded me of that.
Look, it's a big W. I tell you, it's a big W.
I posted it on Facebook, and I was surprised how many people didn't
They don't have any idea. Yeah.
Access of what the Big W was. And, but they had a restaurant there that we ate. It was the one that had the outdoor seating that we didn't because it was too cold.
Oh, right. What was the name of that?
But it was also next to a park where the Big M was. But they had more of the trees, the live oak coastal trees. And that was really pretty. I took some pictures of that. Sip and swing.
Sip and swing. Something, sip and swing. So the food really wasn't that great, but the atmosphere was really cool. They had a lot of the hammocks swings, and you could just sit at a table by yourself at the hammock swing. You could just sit on the front porch on a hammock swing, and they would serve you. Each of the swings had a number, just like a table number, and they'd serve you right at the swing.
But yeah, Rockport, they had the Care First thing that I went to, and then I gave me 2 shots in my butt of steroids and antibiotics, and so hopefully.
And then lots of medicine to go with that.
With it, yeah, and then follow up with next week with another X-ray to make sure that that's all gone. I do feel a lot better. I still have a cough, but I definitely do. I do feel better.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. I think the 2 hardest things about being on the road is when something happens with family, and you got to figure out, are we going home? How are we going to get home? And the expense of getting home quickly, and our own illnesses.
At the second location where we stayed, there was this cardinal, this female cardinal, was just flying back and forth and looking at all the windows and the reflections of the truck and the windows and the mirror, even the bike mirror, just constantly chasing away her
whole
nemesis.
RV, all the window, and knocking her beak up against, like, she'd fly right into the window and then sit there and stare down her reflection.
Poor girl.
Poor girl. She just thought there was somebody after her man or her babies, or I don't know.
Here she comes again, back and forth.
But it was like every single morning, and it would go on for a while, and she'd go around to every window. All right, you ladies, get away. This is my zone. And should have named her, I guess.
And then we did drive to another place called the Big Tree.
Oh, yes.
It had a really several hundred-year-old live oak just sprawling out, and that was a magical tree. Been there for several hundred years.
It had to be held up in some places. They had to put supports under it.
This is our second place in Texas, and so far it's the best place.
Yes, it was.
It was great, and I love being on the beach and the weather and the sunset. And I would definitely come here again.
Oh yeah, definitely. I highly recommend it. And the bathrooms are all. It was great campground. Had a little itty bitty tiny camp store where you register, but not much in there. Just trinkets and T-shirts and candy bars was the only food items they had. But yeah, it was a good stay, and even inland. Even with the rain, it was just so quiet and peaceful and relaxing.
Yep. So another things we don't like about traveling is the weather. It was really windy and rained all night.
It can be scary.
It can be quite a little scary.
And even on the water, the one night, we had our support of the braces and stuff underneath, but you could still feel it rocking a little bit.
And then they had a seawall, but then at high tide, and then as the wind was bringing the water over the seawall up to the front of near our RV.
It splashed in like 6 feet probably from the wall, but that was just the highest tide day. And then the next morning, the tide was really low and it was far away from the seawall.
Yep.
So we highly recommend Goose Island State Park in Rockport, Texas. Now we're heading on to Choke Canyon State Park in Three Rivers, Texas. The pictures look beautiful. The comments on the RV Trip Wizard look amazing. We're supposed to hopefully see a bunch of wildlife. So
we will catch you at our next waypoint.
Thanks for watching.
And now we're proceeding on to Choke Canyon State Park in Del Rio, Texas. It's not too far away.
Three rivers. Del Rio is the next one, I think.
You're right, my bad. So scratch that. You need to put up Bugs Bunny, rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season.
Sun setting. Get the sun setting later tonight. Early this morning, same view. The sun was rising.